very nerve-wracking being in front of the camera. Welcome to the Steve Hanna Show. This is my very first show. It's going to be showing on podcast. This is where I get to discuss such things as the internet, Facebook, anything that's interesting to me. I could discuss some political issues if they're interesting enough. Eventually, I would like to have some guests for the purpose of having engaging conversations. Think of Bill Maher, then think of me. Politically incorrect, but not all the time. Sometimes I will be talking to this camera. Sometimes I'll be talking to this camera. This camera in particular is set up so that I can work on the computer. See how this works. I can work on the computer and you can see what I'm doing. Now I'm also recording the computer screen so that we can do cuts back and forth. Part of the challenge of this show is technical. We hooked up 2 camcorders and I'm using this screen capture program called iShowU. I use, as you might be able to tell, I'm not sure if it's in frame, but I use Macintosh almost exclusively. This iShowU seems like a pretty good program. Using the Apple Animation Compression, I can get really good screen captures. But anyways, that's introducing the series. There's going to be a few more, I'm going to talk to you now, Cannon. There's going to be a few more episodes. The episodes are going to, actually probably many more episodes, especially if there's popular demand. Let me introduce myself first of all, now that I've been rambling on about how this is made. My name is Steve Hanna. I live in the Vancouver, BC area. I go to Simon Fraser University. I work there as a web services developer. As a web services developer, I work daily with technologies like PHP, Python, MySQL. I usually stick with open source technologies for web development. So you may see issues that are interesting to SFU students, SFU faculty, SFU staff. If there's anything interesting, I'll be going through the peaks. If somebody's very opinionated on a topic, I may bring them in, just because it's really fun to have opinionated people on, especially if they're wrong. But I try to remain unbiased. Anyways, topics of today. Facebook, conscientious objectors. I know a number of people, and you probably do too, people that refuse to join Facebook. Now let me back up a step, just in case you are neither a conscientious objector or a current Facebook user. Perhaps you're somebody that has not even heard of Facebook. Let me use the phrase, I've heard this used many times, you have probably been living under a rock for the last 6 months if you were in this category. But let me just tell you a little bit about Facebook. Facebook is a social networking utility that's on the internet. Now you're probably saying, what's that? If you don't know what Facebook is. Social networking utilities are, perhaps you've heard of Friendster. They're applications on the internet that allow friends to connect. That may seem vague. On a practical level, I have a Facebook account, I log in, and then I can see what my friends are doing. My friends all have accounts, and if we all have accounts, then suppose I'm going to the movies, I might update my status and it says, Steve is going to the movies. Then all of my friends get a little news update saying, Steve is going to the movies. And they're like, oh, Steve's going to the movies. Why isn't he going with me? So it's a good way to lose friends also, in addition to making friends. But I want to talk about conscientious objectors. Now, conscientious objectors are people who, for some reason or another, refuse to join Facebook. I know a few of these people, and I've asked them why this is. Some people, it's because they don't have the time, they say. They are worried about losing all of their time on Facebook. They call themselves an addictive personality. Perhaps they don't understand it. They just aren't interested in it. To them, I say, you can use it as little or as much as you want. Myself, I don't use it very much. I use it, I have a profile page, I update my status from time to time, and I really appreciate being able to go on and know what my friends are doing. Now, a lot of the time, I don't use it at all. But the good thing is, if suppose somebody sends me a message on Facebook or writes on my wall, I'll explain what that is in a moment, I get an email in my email box that says, so-and-so wrote on your wall. So I know that I should log in and see what the message is. It's very interesting to see. And it doesn't take any time at all. It's like checking email. I log in, and if I'm at the same computer, I'm already logged in. Okay, so first objection gone. It does not waste time. If you're a conscientious objector and you're objecting on that basis, you're wrong. Second, I get this sometimes. They're worried about Facebook world domination. Now, people who are worried about this oftentimes are worried about Google world domination, which is probably more valid, but just as completely invalid. They're just organizations that have websites that are very useful, so a lot of people use them. And some people may be worried that these organizations are going to use this information for bad things. The CIA, they could use these applications to find out who your friends are. So, albeit, if McCarthyism does come back and the government wants to know who is sympathizing with communists, they could probably use Facebook to find out who people's friends are. I've also heard people using Facebook as a discriminator when hiring somebody. This is actually probably pretty effective. Or when choosing a tenant. If somebody is applying to be a tenant to rent your basement off you, I've heard of the landlord going to Facebook, looking at the person's friends. Because, okay, one of the good things about Facebook, if you're not on it, is you can make it so nobody can see your profile unless they're your friend. They first have to request to be your friend, and then you say, yeah, okay, this person can see my profile. However, everybody can click on your friends, and they can see who your friends are. And I guess just seeing the pictures of your friends, people can form an opinion of what kind of person you are. If you got a friend that has long green hair, maybe they're sticking out their tongue, perhaps there's some open nudity in the photographs of some of your friends, then the landlord might get the wrong idea. All I can say to that is I can be careful who your friends are. That's good advice, even outside of Facebook. But in any case, I would characterize these people as paranoid people. There's really not too much to worry about. You can delete your account. Maybe somebody's got it backed up somewhere. It's a great tool. Anyways, I think I've talked that to death. If you got any opinions on it, please leave comments on the blog. Maybe I can revisit it. Perhaps, if people are interested, I can actually show Facebook in action. No time today. I'm under the gun. Now, on to the next piece of cool technology that I think is becoming very common, most people are aware of, but a lot of people underuse. What it is, it's RSS, really simple syndication. Now, if you don't know what this is, then it can be hard to explain what it is. Now let me step back just a little bit and discuss why I think Facebook is so good. The example I used was that when your friends do anything, they change their status, you get a little note saying so-and-so is doing this, or maybe so-and-so posted a note, or you get a little newsfeed update on your homepage. This is very handy. It collects all the news feeds of all the interesting things that you're interested in and puts them all in one place so you can just read through it like your own personal newspaper of your friends. This is a very cool thing. However, there is a more open source of this than Facebook. It's called RSS. Now, anybody that has a blog, also Craigslist, there's a lot of different places that are using RSS. What you can do is you can subscribe to the RSS feed, and using a RSS reader, you can receive these feeds as notifications. Every day you just sort of read through your reader, and it gets the information that you're interested in from all over the internet in one place. So you can just read through it like your own private newspaper. The next episode, perhaps I'll go through an example. I use a program called Vienna. It's for OS X. It's very, very easy to use. And I'm not going to go through an example right now because I seem to have ripped through all my time. This episode has been more of a pilot than anything, just to see, how well do I work with the camera? How does the time flow? And how interested are people in what I have to say? So I'm going to cut it short. Let's just recap. Facebook, get on there. It's really helpful. Second, RSS. If you haven't looked into it, look into it. It's very helpful. Vienna, V-I-E-N-N-A. That's a program I use for Mac OS X that works very well for RSS feeds. I'll show you an example on Craigslist next time. For all of you out there, I'd like to thank you for tuning in to the very first episode of The Steve Hanna Show. Thank you, and good night.